And I don't want to state the obvious, but I tend to do that from time to time. But we are in some interesting times right now. We are going through some uncharted waters, so to speak. There are areas or regions that are doing better than others, and there are some that are suffering quite a bit right now. But everyone is uncertain as to what everything is going to bring. But I can tell you this, or at least this is my feeling, that our business will return to us. Our year will return to us, and I think that the economy is going to explode near the end of the year, if not before, again dependent upon what happens with this COVID-19 situation. But I do know this, I do know that it is a wonderful time for us to improve. It's a wonderful time for us to hone our skills and to get better. But that being said, it's also difficult from a mental standpoint to stay focused. You know, if you are at home, if you do have a state that has a stay-at-home order and you're abiding by it, there are certain things that get a little tedious from time to time. And again, the uncertainty, the negative thoughts, particularly at night, they're particularly hard to fight. So I would entreat you, and this is a word that I go back to John Adams, the mini-series. They made fun of the guy that used it too much back then, so you can make fun of me, but I implore you to please utilize this time to get better and to increase your contacts and do what you can do to make sure that when we do come back, we are ready to do that. One of the main dangers that I do foresee that I wanted to share with you and get your opinion back on, if I may, would be that once we do come back with all the manufacturer incentives that you know are going to increase or maintain, because we are accumulating aged inventory, which is dangerous. It's certainly going to cause a few hours of lack of sleep, that's for sure, for a lot of people that are having this inventory come back. But one of the main dangers is to make sure that we still sell from strength. It's going to be so easy for us, particularly with certain people, and believe me, there'll be a lot of customers out there, they're going to want half off of a car, make silly demands. We can't allow that to happen. If I can suggest anything, and this is no knock against the manufacturers whatsoever, but allow the manufacturers to shoulder this burden initially and sell with their incentives. If they're publicized, rebates, cash, interest rates, what have you, use those, and I know a lot of us do anyway, use those first, but please sell from strength and try to maintain your margin as best you can, because the last thing that we want to do is let the customers realize that we're in a panic mode. And we don't have to be in a panic mode. We will sell our inventory. Production will adjust itself, the economy will adjust itself, and people are still going to need cars. There's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. We've heard this numerous times before. But please allow the manufacturers to shoulder that. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, those are all great ideas, but you got to have a solution. If you have, well, I do have a solution on how to sell from strength. Let the marketplace set the pricing, if at all possible. Utilize all of these sources, such as anything. I mean, anything. Car gurus, TrueCar, Carfax, what have you. Allow them to set the pricing in the marketplace. The consumers set the marketplace. There's more of this in Concepts of Modern Automotive Sales, and we'll get to that at some point later. As a matter of fact, for all of you that be interested, I do have a free webinar that'll be coming out in the next 7 to 10 days, and please sign up for that. I'll give you a link or what have you. But that'll help you do this, or helps train the salespeople to do this, because it's extremely important. Now, again, along with that danger comes the understanding, I get it, we need to create cash flow. There's going to be, again, a lot of companies that are hurting for that. We have to create the cash flow, but we cannot allow the customers, again, to know that we're in any type of panic mode whatsoever. We still have to build value. We still have to do all the things that we've done before and do them even better now, and let the customers know that we are doing them even better, to allow ourselves the best chance to get through this profitably and then get into the next stage of our business. So please keep these things in mind as we move forward. Now, another item that I want to get into is something that I've discussed with a good friend of mine, Dr. David Aaron, and I'll provide hopefully an excerpt from one of our conversations, but he's a professor of marketing at Dominican University here in Illinois, and a longtime friend. But at any rate, I wanted to bring up AI, or artificial intelligence, because I don't know much about it. That's not an area of expertise. So I purchased a book called The Sales Revolution, or The Selling Revolution, and I hope Mr. Sebastian doesn't mind. It's by DJ Sebastian. I think it's a great work, and I think it's structured properly. I think there's some good information, and it's gotten really good reviews, and I'm learning a lot from it because I needed to learn. I didn't understand a lot of these concepts that have been presented, and maybe, I don't know if it's fear mongering or what have you. AI is going to replace the salesperson. They want to get rid of the salespeople, the managers. That's not going to be for quite a while down the road. And I think this book not only at least represents the potential danger in that, but also tells us or teaches us or tries to teach us how to avoid that and be a part of this revolution. Well, I've got news for you. AI is not ready yet. There's some of it. It's working a bit. They're working on some things, but it's not ready to replace you and I yet. There's just too much. AI has to learn, artificial intelligence still has to learn how to make people feel important. They still have to make them feel more intelligent. They have to be able to empathize. They have to counter efficiently and correctly with any concerns or objections, offer alternatives, and try to build that loyalty. And it's just not in the programming yet. It's not in the algorithms yet. Now here's the interesting news. If it is to get that way, they're going to need us, the people that have made a career out of this, doing all of these things to help program or help create the algorithms and create this artificial intelligence, if this is the direction that everybody or some people choose to go. They're going to need us. So keep that in mind. It's not here yet. We still have to be able to do all of these things, but more than anything, the question I know that Dr. Aaron had asked me is, well, what are they going to do with all this big data? Or they're using all this big data that we have to try to isolate the propensities and tendencies of people and what makes them sell better. So even if you pick up incrementally an increase, I mean, that's worth it, isn't it? Of course it is. But how are you going to do that? You're going to take a certain group of people, try to identify their tendencies, but there are also subgroups within that. So how deep do you want to dig into this information? Well, with all of our technology available, we can probably dig as deep as we want to, but we still have to be careful. We still have to interpret the data. And that's even the case right now with the customers that we do have. They come in with all this data from the internet, but a lot of it's wrong. A lot of it's misinformation that we have to help interpret. And that's one of the biggest points that I make in Concepts of Automotive Sales, is that we have to interpret data. That's part of the road to the sale now, because there is so much misinformation out there. We have to do that. But at any rate, we'll get into more of that later. But please keep in mind that artificial intelligence, and the trends are growing and the ideas are growing, is not quite where it needs to be yet. And I don't know when it will be, but I do know this. I do know that you and I are necessary and vital to this, and this is how we're going to get through all of it. So at any rate, I just wanted to share that with you, and there'll be a couple, like I said, I'd like to share a couple of excerpts. I think they're kind of interesting. There I go thinking again. But be something that you can comment on, and I am open to all kinds of criticism. Again, before, I don't want to be just a person, and I've seen them before, that just say, well, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. You have to have a solution. You have to have a solution. I believe I do have the solution in Concepts of Modern Automotive Sales. We'll talk more about that again later, but pick up the book of The Selling Revolution by DJ Sebastian. I do believe that it's marvelous, and it'll help give you an idea of kind of what some of the people are thinking right now and the directions that they might be going. But it's still you and I. It's still the interaction with the human being, and that's going to be necessary. I don't care what anybody says about all this, and I know the touchless delivery, everything that you get into over the internet. Guess what? Our internet departments don't handle concerns and objections. Their job is to sell an appointment. They don't do things the way we do at the dealership, but they're going to have to at some point. Can you possibly imagine if it's all artificial intelligence, if all done digitally, if it's all done that way? How are they going to differentiate? We still have to be able to differentiate, and that's what you and I do, is we make ourselves different, we make ourselves special, and we have to continue to do that. So I wish you all the best. I wish you good health, and please, please, please get better. Take this time as an opportunity. Take advantage of the fact that you can get better. You can work on yourself and grow, because when you get ready to come back, and I'll tell you another thing too, I'll suggest another thing. Forgive me. Owners, upper management, reevaluate the people when they get back. Reevaluate your people. They may have changed. They may have grown. They may have become, as I hope everybody will do, or will take advantage of, become nicer to one another. They will become more effective. They will become more ambitious. So please take this time to reevaluate your people. Talk to them. What are their thoughts now? Ask them what they've learned during this time. These are important things. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and please feel free to comment and give me a call at any time on my cell at 815-988-1297, or contact me through rob@hamiltonsalestraining.com. I would love to hear from you. So take care, everybody.